This is Cerebro Soul Podcast, the inner dive for those remembering something ancient within themselves. My name is Rain, and it is 11:11 as we begin. A moment many experience as a pause, an opening. Welcome. May we approach this space with gratitude and respect for the land, its first stewards, and one another as we explore inner life. So let us invite clarity, truth, and wisdom, allowing everything else to gently fade away. Hello, brothers and sisters of the light. Welcome to today's episode. I have the great joy of having my closest friend, Irena Jager, to the show. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Well, thank you.
I was going to say thank you for agreeing to this. But yeah, I want to start by giving a proper introduction, or I hope it will be proper. But I've known Irena now for 9 years, almost 10. And we've met at the Home of Om Psychic School, and it was in Calgary. And this is the place where I guess both you and I happen to be going to go for psychic abilities or classes and psychic development, actually. Yeah, and you just decided to befriend me.
As one does, yes.
Yes. And and we've been friends ever since, and we've been kind of having our lives kind of on a parallel. And yeah, it's been a really interesting journey how our paths unfolded. If you would like to add to that introduction.
Yeah, no, I found it like every single time we talk about, oh, what's happening with you? There's always something similar, like with the same energy, different physicality, but like same energy that's happening in my life. It's weird. Like even the way we first showed up at the Home of Om is that you were just like fresh out of your divorce, and I was fresh out of it wasn't a divorce because we weren't married, but like it was an 8-year relationship. I had just moved from Europe to Canada, and like everything was new. So we were both brand new, basically.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want what's next to be something better than what it's been so far. And this smells like it could be better. So let's see what's here. Did I force you into friendship? Because I don't remember that.
You didn't force me into friendship, but I was very much just barely overcoming like social anxiety. I was dressed in all black. I was this tiny hiding in the corner, or I felt like I was just really trying hard to make myself invisible. And you just came out of nowhere like, hi, like, who are you? What's your story? And I was like, oh, dear. So
That's okay. That's just how my life's been. Then it's a lot of friendships started with, "Hey, you want to be my friend?" Okay.
yeah, it wouldn't have been me. I would have never approached anyone. Like it would have been more like, oh, that person looks really cool. Or said
Yeah.
nothing.
I think I saw you there like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, well, I mean, might as well like talk to this person because like we seem to have similar interests. Ever since then, really, like your life has gone in a completely different direction than where mine has, but still every time we talk there's topically we're still matching.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my partner's this, and you're like, oh, my partner's that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. So even with the podcast, we kind of started podcasts at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, oh, like I want to start a podcast. You're doing one too? Oh yeah. Let's do it together. I wanted to start us off by asking, what made you go to the Home of Om in the first place?
I think because I was brand new here, I didn't know anybody, and somehow I got onto Meetup, the app. I think I was looking for Qigong and things along the lines of Qigong, because that was also something that the Home of Om had. But then it was also, oh, Mother's Day special open door freebies, like free little Reiki sessions, free little readings. And I was like, well, I need all the guidance I can get. And I just feel like I never left. Because I met Angel, the owner, and she's such a lovely human being. It was like, I want to learn everything I can from you. That's not something that I can say for everybody that I've ever met in the metaphysical waters. So like, so then yeah, that's how I started. And then like a couple of years later, I was the one giving free Reiki sessions at Mother's Day open doors. So but yeah, I think at that point I was really looking to join a Qigong class. Like that's a second parallel, right? Like I met my now husband through that process because he was the one teaching Qigong at the time at the Home of Om.
Yeah.
So it's like that place gave me everything I have right now.
That's so true. That's really like the way that it unraveled was really beautiful, is really beautiful.
How did you get there?
I was dragged there. I was dragged there. It was another, uh, I knew that it was on Meetup, but through a friend. And
Mhm.
while I was going through my divorce, while everybody was like, family mostly pitying me, what are you going to do? This is horrible, blah, blah, blah. She was the only one that took me aside and told me, and it still stayed to this day, like in my heart. She's like, you don't know this yet, but this is the best thing that ever happened to you. I was like, okay. And it was the same thing. She's like, you can benefit from Qigong. We went to one class that wasn't part of the Home of Om with a different teacher. And then she took me to the Home of Om, and we went to see your husband. And that was my first time there. It was also a Qigong class. And
Hmm.
the energy of the place itself was so nourishing. I couldn't
Yeah.
quite say what it was, but I felt safe. After going through so much heartache, I felt it felt safe to cry, and I didn't want to cry, but it was like there was just something there that was so nurturing and safe, and
Mhm.
right down to the smell of the incense and all the crystals, and just that calming non-judgment, like you can be whoever you are. And it was great, and I felt going there was more important than my social anxiety. So I would
Hmm.
literally force myself to go to at least one class here and there.
Do I know that friend that dragged you there?
Katrina, it was Katrina. I don't know if you had ever met her, but she didn't go to that school. She was just the one that brought me there. She
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 like dropped you off and was like,
she
okay,
was
I'll
the
pick you up
bridge.
after.
Yeah, she was the bridge. She was like you she was just mostly interested in going to the class. And then after that she went on her own path with a different qigong style, which I followed too, but I loved the school so much that I stayed, and I wanted to know more about it.
Mhm, mhm. That's funny. So my husband actually brought us all together
Yeah. Technically, yes. Yeah.
without
There you
knowing
go.
it.
I wanted to bring that setting forward because it's good to have the language in place instead of kind of being overwhelmed by all the language that a lot of psychics use or people that just dive within use. So, yeah, let's talk about the clairs. There's quite a few, but maybe let's start with a general idea of what the clairs are all together and not separate. So, if you had
Right.
to,
Maybe like maybe for people who are here for the first time, we may want to say what the heck we're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, let's start with the etymology of it. So clair means clear. The word is used in context of clairvoyant, clairsentience. So those two are the ones that I feel like are the most popular ones. You can see in like TV shows and movies, like, oh, she's a clairvoyant. So what does that actually mean? It refers to our physical senses being used to interpret non-physical energy, let's say. So if we say that somebody's clairvoyant, that means they have clear vision. Their eyes would be the receivers of visual stimuli. That's not necessarily physically in the room. So like if I say, oh, I see a woman standing behind you, there's not actually a woman standing behind you, but there's the energy of a woman standing behind you, and your eyes are interpreting it. So I guess it's interpretation. It's how your body is connecting to non-physical information, and it's going to be different for different people, and it can be like the same person can have multiple strong suits. So somebody might have a strong sense of vision. Somebody, let's say somebody has been playing piano since they were 3 years old. They might have a more developed hearing, like more so than a regular person would. And like they're sensitive to different shifts. They're sensitive to tones interacting with each other. So their body is going to say, okay, so this is a smooth way for me to interpret the energy that I'm perceiving.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it boils down to the path of least resistance. What is your, like, what is easy for your body to use of your senses so that these non-physical so that the non-physical information is interpreted in an easy and in an easy way that feels familiar. So like back to the example of the person who's been playing piano since they were 3 years old, that is a very familiar sense for them. Even when we talk about physical information, like somebody talking, they're gonna have a more developed sense of what they're hearing. Like maybe they're more sensitive to changes in inflection in people's voices. Maybe they hear what are they called? Like the electricity outside, in like the electric wires outside. Like there's a sound to them, but not everybody can perceive it. Not everybody hears it, or maybe not everybody cares about it. Like it's one of those things that can be blocked out. But then there's people who have a very developed hearing who are going to be like, I can't be in this room because the air is too loud.
Yeah.
How would you define it?
Well, I really like what you said about interpreting non-physical energy, because I was kind of looking online just to see what other people say, and it's the interpretation of things that aren't there. And I'm like, but it is there. It's not there physically, but the energy, like you said, the energy is there. So I don't like that definition of just like perceiving something that isn't there, because energy is very fluid. And the way that maybe I would add to that is that, yeah, we have our physical body, but our body is a lot bigger than just the physical realm. Our body kind of grows into, or our soul, or like there's different interpretation of the soul, but like if we start by just looking at the body, then the body gets bigger. There's like the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body, and then at some point there's the divinic body. And maybe our physical senses are limited, but our awareness can be maybe unconsciously and consciously on a different layer of the body. So we can also pick up on things that are far away. They're not right here, but they're further away, and maybe our awareness is just traveling and connecting with different energies, because we ourselves are also very fluid. So anything that has to do beyond what is said that we can perceive or receive in the physical realm, our senses can do a lot more than that. And that's what makes it clear. And our mind will kind of try to gaslight a little bit and just say like, that's just crazy, like what's going on. But it is there. It is, energy is very fluid, and we can pick up on it consciously or unconsciously.
What would you say is your strong suit? Or do you want to talk about which ones exist before we go into that, actually?
Let's start with clairsentience.
Yep.
And let's just add information to that word and see how we can give examples, or how it has even expressed itself in your life and in my life. Because you had said that you feel like is that your main one?
It's hard for me to say which one is my main one, because I have a couple of them, and I feel like they rotate based on the situation. I think sometimes based on how far a thing is from me. So clairsentience is clear feeling. So I know a lot of people. Like actually, most of the people that I know that have some sort of clair have the clairsentience, and it's that kind of, oh, I don't know what it is, but there's something off. It feels off. Like some people feel it on their skin, like, ooh, I'm getting goosebumps, or I'm getting like the creepy crawlies or something. Like there's just something wrong about this room. I don't want to be in it. And so that's all the information that they have. No, I'm talking about people who haven't really worked with those clairs to develop them, to understand, because there's obviously processes where you can be like, okay, let's look deeper into this. But let's say somebody has an open door into a clair and hasn't walked through it yet. So clairsentience, I don't know how to analyze it, but there's just something off. And I will tell you, as an intellectual person, that one messes with you. Well, actually, if you're strong, like intellectually, if you're used to analyzing things with your left brain, if then very very binary, then all of these clairs are confusing, and you try to gaslight. That's where the gaslighting comes in. So like your brain is trying to tell you, no, that doesn't fall into the realm of what we're familiar with. There's no theory on this. There's nobody told you that this is real, therefore it's not real. So that's a hard one for people that come from from engineering fields. It can be tough for them to allow themselves to explore. But it's funny because like there's a couple of podcasts online that I watch that are about near death experiences and angels and like interviews like this, and most of them are people who were engineers. And then they were like, no, no, there's something more. And then like they actually allowed themselves to be laughed at by their peers, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's something more, and you can't tell me that I'm making this up. Clairsentience. Okay, so here's a good example. My sister, when we were growing up, we weren't taught anything about energies or psychic abilities. Like we grew up in a very engineering household, and like even the country was just operated in a way that if you're like even if you're religious, you'd get looked at like, what's wrong with you? Like how, like, oh, you believe in a god sort of thing. Like it's ridiculous now looking back at it, but there's just so much fear.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, no, it's like we were born in the perfect society to break out of. So what my sister had, I would now call her intuitive, and like she experiences things through clairsentience. But she didn't know that back then. So when she was a teenager, she would feel all these things from the people around her. She didn't know that it was from the people around her. She just thought that she was going crazy. Because, like, why am I suddenly, like, I was in a good mood and now suddenly I want to scream and I'm angry or I'm sad or, like, am I bipolar, you know? That wasn't even something that we knew about. So she would try to numb it out with alcohol, with drugs, and things like that. And it wasn't until I kind of stumbled upon Reiki, and I just felt so called to it. And I found a teacher, a master to attune me, and I was talking about it, which was like awkward on its own. Like I don't even know how. It's so weird. Like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my family about this thing, and I know that nobody believes any of it, but I'm just gonna say it. And then my sister was like, "So this energy thing, that's real? Like that's a real thing? Non-physical stuff floating around?" I'm like, "Yes. Do you want to know more?" And she's like, "Tell me more. Like I'm not accepting this yet, but tell me more. I want to hear more." She ended up going to the same teacher, getting attuned, and learning about, okay, there's people who are more sensitive to this energy than others. And she finally realized, this isn't me. I'm not going crazy. An angry person just walked by and I caught their anger. Or a sad person just sat down next to me and now I'm feeling sad. She learned how to, I'm going to say isolate, but like how to section herself off from the surrounding energy. And just like that, she didn't need to drink anymore. She didn't need to take any like stimulants or what are the other ones that numb you out. Like she didn't need to take anything else anymore. because she learned that she can just conceptualize it in her mind and put up a protection. We're going to talk about some ways to do that here, but that's an example of a person who's like full body clairsentience, not aware of it. And if she didn't learn, like if she hadn't stumbled upon it, like if she didn't have a sister who accidentally got into Reiki, she might have like that may have been her life, you know, like she may have just gone down the route of an alcoholic and spent her whole life in a defensive mode.
Mm.
It's just she's my favorite example because like once she grasped it, oh my god, she's unstoppable. And she works as a massage therapist right now, which can be challenging because you're like touching people with emotions. But like she can do that with her preparation, like with her energetic setup. Like she can say like this isn't mine, but I can use what I'm perceiving from this person. I can use it in my work. So like she has like she's told me about situations where she's working on somebody, suddenly she feels a strong pain in her leg, and she's like, that wasn't there a second ago, hold on, and ask the client, do you happen to have any pain in your legs? And they're like, yeah, I do. And it's like describes the exact thing that she's feeling right now. And she's like, okay, that's done, you can leave now, right? Like no need to keep that pain in her own body, but it brought information.
Mm.
What about you for clairsentience? How did that work out for you?
I think the first Claire that ever came to me, the first one was clairsentience. It was so strong because I had devoted years to compartmentalizing myself and making sure that I was in full control of what I was going to feel. And most of the time, I wasn't feeling, even though I was feeling so much, but I was never really aware that all these feelings were not mine.
Mm.
I was constantly, I think, going through life, making sure that everybody was okay. Because deep down, I didn't want to feel what they were feeling because I was feeling them, but I didn't know that I was feeling them. It was just like this big, really exhausting, like thinking this is how they feel, even though, yeah, I'm feeling them. And so I'm kind of trying to fix people because I don't want to feel it. And it was just
Mm.
very confusing. And when I started becoming aware of that this was a thing, it was very scary. It was very scary because it was a lot of like your sister. There was like shifts that would come out of nowhere. Like one second I'm okay, and the other second it's like a cloud of doom came. And when you believe that that shift is coming from you, that can
Mhm.
be very dangerous and scary because I mean, picture being like super happy one second and then the next second you're having like weird thoughts that are like just really depressing and scary and you're like, "Oh my god, like it's easy to kind of go like there's something wrong with me. I need to kind of." That was that was definitely my first one. And I learned, I think it was Katrina that taught me a lot. She was like my first little step into the metaphysical world. And she was like, okay, whenever this happens, you need to say, I give back what doesn't belong to me and I keep what is mine for further processing.
Hmm.
And every time I would say it like a mantra, and every time if the emotion wasn't mine, it would leave. And it was like, oh wow, like I couldn't believe it. It's like just
Say it again.
I give back what doesn't belong to me and I keep what is mine for further processing.
Love it.
Yeah. It still happens to this day, not like that, but I find I'll think about someone or I feel their energies and then like they reach out
Hmm.
or vice versa. That's like how clairsentience happens a lot of times where like somebody calls and you're like, I was just thinking about you. Where it's like, but you were feeling the connection and they were feeling the connection too. And one of the biggest one that ever happened to me, and I was with you when it happened. That was like a really long time ago. We were having a great time, and all of a sudden I started feeling, is this me? And then I felt my friend right away, and then I texted her and I said, are you okay? And she answered right away, yeah, I'm fine. It's not me. It's my mother-in-law. She's in the hospital. And I said, like, that's not it. And I said, and she was pregnant. And I said, are you getting a lot of kicks? And she was like,
Mhm.
yeah. And I was like, there it is. And I was like, your baby's not okay. They're in distress. You need to sit down. Like, I was feeling like the energy of the child in the womb, like kind of feeling all that turmoil.
Mm.
And so it was just very surreal, like just this moment of like being okay. And then the other second, just like, what's going on with me? Clairsentience, when you're not aware of it, can be a little bit intense. But once you get the tools of it, it doesn't have to be even that big. You can put like boundaries in place, and like your sister did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can. One of the things that we were taught is that your body is going to use vocabulary. It's going to use what you're familiar with. So you can literally put together a lexicon. So this comes together more so in, well, more obviously in the world of clairvoyance, so clear seeing, and clairaudience, clear hearing, where you can say, okay, I'm seeing purple around you, but it doesn't matter what purple stands for. It matters what purple means to you.
Mhm.
So you're putting together, like as you're working with people, as you're working with yourself, you're literally writing a lexicon saying purple means person is on a spiritual growth journey or something like that, whatever it means to you. So it would be the same with clairsentience. Like you can put parameters in place, like you said, okay, when a feeling is coming and it's not me, I want you to, I don't know, scratch my left earlobe. Like you can literally direct the energy because it's all coming through your higher self, so through your higher bodies. So it's like your physical self is making an agreement, a contract almost, with your higher with the more expanded energy parts of you. So you can say if this is about me, I want to feel a tap on the head, and if it's about somebody else, I want to feel a scratch on my ear. Like when you're first starting that, it's gonna be confusing, and you're gonna forget that it can be somebody else and not you. But as you move on, as you keep doing that, as like practice, basically, the more you practice, the more it'll be clear.
Yeah.
I think I think the one that you were aiming for with me was when I was younger. I had this feeling of there was something about the English language and then also German language because I started learning them when I was very young through cartoons. And then as I could take them as classes in school, then I took them as extracurriculars. There was something that felt incredibly expanding from learning the foreign languages. I didn't know how, but I was like, I want to live in Germany one day. And then like the bigger dream, I want to live in North America
Mm.
or some English speaking country actually. That's what it was. America always felt unattainable for some reason, but it was the one where all the cartoons were from. So it was very present. But like there was something inside, like there were little packets of information in the language that were inviting me. It's not that they made me want to move, but it felt like a move would create massive expansion.
Mhm.
So like I was 10 at the time. I didn't know how or where or why or if. Like it was just like I want to live in Germany one day. I'm 10 years old. Uh Fast forward 13, 15 years later, but I didn't know any of that. But I did know that thinking about it, or rather speaking the language, it created that feeling of opening. It created space. Like I didn't really feel at home where I grew up, socially, culturally, or linguistically. From the moment I could write English, all my diary entries were in English.
Wow.
It
You
was,
were connecting with the energy of the language and all of it in a way too.
yeah, there was something about it. Like I still can't really quantify it. There was a feeling in the language that made me feel bigger.
Yeah.
So it was like there was nothing that I would think, how sometimes when you're like, oh, I have this, like, if you're trying to visualize a goal, it's like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber and make $1 million a year. And now you're like, all right, what are the actions I can take to get there? Well, I didn't have any of that blocking me when I was a kid. It was just like, I just like speaking the language. I like listening to the language. I like watching cartoons. I like correcting my teachers when
Wow.
when they say something wrong. Granted, it didn't happen a lot, but I did get a teacher in high school asked me if I was making a word up. I read it in a book and it's discombobulated. I read it in a book and this was before the internet, so I'm like, it's not in my dictionary. I don't know what it means. Hey teacher, help me out. And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm going to look it up." And then like a couple of days later she's like, "Are you making this up?" Like I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like,
Out
well,
of all
that's
words.
it's very helpful. Right, like that, it added to a feeling of I'm onto something.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So I feel like clairsentience, we painted a picture. It's a good.
Yeah.
Let's move to clairvoyance because that's another big one. Yeah.
Do you want to start this one?
Sure. Yeah. So clairvoyance, I think, not to go too much in that realm, but maybe that's the one that freaks a lot of people out
Mm.
because this is where people will get very religious or very psychological or then you venture into like maybe you're starting to see things that aren't real or whatever, but I want to close that door. But it is just scary for a lot of people because it's seeing energies that are non-physical there. And for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, I'm seeing something that isn't real, that isn't there. And the intensity can vary if you haven't developed it, if you haven't worked with it. For some people, it's such a big natural ability that it's too much. Or for others, it's just kind of like, I think I saw a little speck of light. Those are the ones that a lot of people are like, I just saw a blue speck appear in my peripheral. And you're like, and then you look and it's not there anymore, but like just like little specks of light. But it's perceiving energies that are beyond the physical. Yeah, again, can be scary. Doesn't have to be. And you could definitely lower the intensity. And it is approaching what you said. Once you start acknowledging that these are our human given abilities, like we all have them. Nobody's more special than somebody else. It's exactly like you said. It will be kind of like perfume. It'll morph into you the way that it needs to. Yeah, you can program it. You just be like, I don't want to see this big. I want to see about this big. Once you know how to work with it, the tools, you can work with your higher self. You can work and just with your guides and just program the level of intensity. For me, wanting to see to a big intensity just to see how far I can go. And then I had to lower the intensity. There were instances when I was driving and I would literally see somebody running by the side of the road that like wasn't in physical form, but it was so there that I was like, whoa. And they were just giving me a message of like, don't worry about this. Like, you'll be just fine. I'm like, okay, I almost got into an accident seeing you. So I'd rather not have that intensity anymore. It can be as seeing just energy in motion. Some people, for them, it'll be seeing auras. You could train yourself to perceive the aura, and it'll be different colors. So somebody, and children tune into that so much. They'll be like, you look blue. And we think that they're just having imagination, but they're really tuning into the color of your aura. For other people, they can literally see maybe soul fragments as like clouds. It really is different to, or specific to the person and how it chooses to express itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you have to say about clairvoyance?
Yeah, like you said, it's the big one. It's the one that everybody knows about it, but it's the most polarizing one when you think about it, because people who have it, or people who have it developed, they can think they're seeing things like in a like in a mental illness kind of way. Like, I'm imagining things that aren't there. You can think about it that way. Other people might see it that way as well. Like, even if you're believing, even if you're like, no, this is clairvoyance, I know what I'm seeing, and they're like, yeah, okay, crazy. Like, that reflects their fears. But then also people who are trying to develop their clairs, trying to develop themselves psychically, oftentimes they think, I have to see this
Hmm.
in order to believe it. Or rather, I will believe it when I see it. So show me. Come on, angels, show me the thing. I want to see a green bubble. Let's go. And then you don't see the green bubble, but maybe you hear something and you're ignoring it because you're expecting to see. So that's what I mean. Like, it's the most polarizing one, because if you have it and you don't know what it is, you can go into fear. But if you want it and it hasn't developed yet, you might think, I'm not good at this. This isn't available for me. I'm not psychic. I'm not spiritual enough, or whatever. Like, those are all things that I've heard people say. Those are some of the things that I've thought of for myself as well. So it's like, I really just want to see this. Why can't you just show me this visually? And even like while you were talking about it, I'm thinking, okay, so we said we're talking about senses that have been developed, that know that it's easy to reach you. Like in this case of the person who was playing piano since they were 3 years old. And then I think, oh well, my glasses prescription is insanely high. Why would I expect my body to be like, yes, eyes are your strength. Let's show you things through your eyes. um just a little sidestep there. I just had that thought.
Yeah.
But it's the one that once people are open to developing themselves psychically, it's the one that people aim for. And if they don't have it, then they think that they're not doing something right, or that they're not connecting to non-physical information. So it's a trippy one. Clairvoyance, it really is a trippy one. I think most of the psychics that are shown on TV are clairvoyant. Like, it's always like, oh, I can see dead people. I can see ghosts. I can see this happening. So this is where that lexicon comes in that we were talking about before. It's because the interpretation, it's all about the interpretation, right? So it's not okay. I have a chair in my living room. The chair is dark brown, and it's going to be dark brown for everybody except for colorblind people. But everybody's going to see it the same way. If I have a non-physical chair in my living room, then it's conveying information beyond just a chair. And to convey information, you have to tune into what is relevant to you, what your mind connects to it. So everybody will have their own personal lexicon where they're like, okay, so this chair reminds me of a chair that my grandma had in her living room And I really liked my grandma. And every time I was there, I felt at home. And I knew that I was going to get some apple pie. And I knew that everything was right with the world. So all of that information is woven into the image of brown chair. Somebody else, to get to the same place, they might see something else. They might see a golden mirror because my grandma had a golden mirror at home. And every time I was there, same story again, right? And a lot of people when they're first starting out and the ones that aren't really trying to develop it, they'll Google things like, what does a dark chair mean? Or like same thing with dreams, right? Like, oh, I dreamt of a weasel and a koala climbing a tree together. What does that mean? And then you're Googling it. Like, what is this? What does it mean when you dream of this? And it doesn't, there's not gonna be a singular objective interpretation. It's always, what does it mean to you? Because
Yeah.
you are the one perceiving. What you're perceiving is completely up to you. It's where your brain is. So if you're developing clairvoyance, and like you said, a kid might see your aura and say, oh, your aura is blue. But blue for them might be the color of the sky, happiness. You know, like it might be, oh, I it's the color of the sea. I love the sea. I love to go swimming. Somebody else might see your aura, say it's blue, and oh, that means that you're sad.
Mhm.
So it's not like, oh, you're emanating a color. It's all about the perceiver. So yeah, I think the one thing I would say to people who are working on developing their clairvoyance is to remember to keep asking yourself, what does this mean to me? Not what does this mean, but what does it mean to me? And you can literally start writing things down. Like if you want to have a written dictionary of imagery that's coming to you. But I would I don't know. It feels like a lot of work to me. Because you can always ask yourself, okay, what does this mean to me in this moment? You know, it's not even maybe the a dark brown chair is gonna mean different things to you in different at different times of your life. It's all fluid. It's all where am I right now? What does it mean to me right now? And then go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot because it's true. At the beginning, like I remember when I started, it was kind of like learning hieroglyphs, really. Like because it's not so fluid at first, but I think it's just the hesitation, the discomfort, working through a lot of like veils and layers, and so at first it is you want to get external understanding, and I'm sure Freud had a lot to say about the dreams. If you dream about a banana, this is what it's gonna mean. So, but yeah, like it's like green car. It's like what does green car mean? And yeah, but eventually, yeah, you do kind of bridge that gap, and it is really all about in the moment now. But it
Mm.
takes, I don't know, maybe the people that are getting into it now, it's not going to be so hard. Maybe there's not a big of a trench to dig to get to understanding the connection or perceiving the connection or even working with it. I'm really intrigued to see how like the next generation of people tuning in is going to connect. Maybe they're going to be like, oh God, that's so dinosaur information. Like, just that's not how you do it anymore. Um,
Well, I think they're gonna be they have the advantage of a lot of their parents now being aware of these things. And like for example, even a parent who doesn't experience clairvoyancy, I know about it. And I know that if my daughter comes to me and says there's a blue dinosaur in my room, I'll be like, tell me more about this. I will make notes. Like I'm not gonna say, oh, there's no such thing as a blue dinosaur. I'm gonna dig into it. I'm gonna be like, okay, let's keep going. What else? I think they're skipping that part of doubting yourself for years and then finding your way back into developing the gifts and then owning them. So I think they like that whole gap there. That's not their journey. Their journey is to have adults around them who understand or at least believe that it's possible.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my son definitely connects with beings, and I always tell him not to project my fear on him, but I'm like, if they're not nice, you tell them to leave. just like just like right away, like I tell them like what's the boundaries, like they can't stay here if they're like anybody else is okay, but if they're mean,
Yep.
mommy will cast them out as like
You shall not pass.
yeah.
I've done that too. Like when she was like 3 or 4 months old, she's lying in bed and all of a sudden she kind of looks up and ah! And I'm like, all right, whoever's there, if you can change the way you look to not scare her, you can stay. Otherwise, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Or like invoke Archangel Michael. That's a very popular way to set up protection. But yeah, I'm already doing it. I don't know what you see, but I believe you see something.
Yeah.
So get out.
Okay. I think we can move to clairaudience now.
Ooh, clairaudience.
You don't like that one?
No, I love that one.
You do?
That
Oh,
because that one is now we're getting into the territory of what I've experienced. So
hey.
so I like clairaudience. Do you want me to start then?
Yeah, go ahead.
So clairaudience is clear hearing. So this is from our earlier example of a person who's been playing piano since they were 3 years old. That was the example of clairaudience. So you would hear things. So let's say a song pops into your head, not something that you just heard on the radio, but maybe something that's like, I don't know the last time I heard this and now I can't stop singing it in my head. That might be a sign of clairaudience. That's a very simple one, a very popular one as well. What I would do in that case, I would be like, okay. So I'm spinning the chorus of that song because that's what I remember to sing. But let's listen to the words. Like, what are the words saying? And then I would go like, oh, that kind of connects to what I was thinking about before. Okay. So like take the message out of it. One example that I had at the Home of Om, when we had it was a psychic workshop and there was a lot of people in the room. And at that point, I had been already attending many of them, and there was a lot of people who were new. The teacher brought out a person to the front of the class, and she said, "Okay, everybody is going to." I don't know what exactly was the wording of the request, but basically everybody look into her energy, and let's talk about what you get. So like that was the way that we practiced at the Home of Om. So people would raise their hands and be like, "Oh, I see green. Oh, I see this, or I'm getting this." And I was like, "I'm getting something, but I don't want to raise my hand because I want to let everybody else have their opportunity to share, because it was a large group and I was there all the time." And I was like, I want to let them have their experience. And every time I would push it down, saying to myself like, no, let's let them do it, it would become like not louder, but it's like a balloon that kept filling with air from the inside. So it's like you feel like you're like there's something inside me that's gonna burst. So finally I was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I cannot not say it. And at this point I was already like tearing up, so that's one of my tells. So that's another thing about all the clairs. You will usually have a tell that will kind of let you know that this is real. I interpret it as my tells come when I feel that I'm connecting to something that's important for somebody else. So I feel like it's a connection between the two of us that does it. Because if I'm just thinking about myself and like asking questions about myself, I'm not going to have the same response. But if I'm talking to you and you're asking me, what do you see for me? And I see something and it's making me tear up, I'm like, oh, this is very important for you. So in that situation, I was starting to tear up and like it was even hard to describe it. Like even just thinking about it, now I'm getting it a little bit in my throat. It's awesome. I wish I knew what it meant to her because she never said. But
No, she didn't.
no, because this is what I it was a combination of seeing and hearing in this case, but it was like a mental image. It wasn't like I see it in front of me. It was like I see it in my mind. It was a cello propped like on like a stand, and it was turning like on a lazy Susan, and there was like a spotlight on it, and it was playing I think it's cello suite number 1. So it's like if you've ever thought of, oh, I don't know any songs that have the cello except that one, it's that one. Like it's the most popular cello classical thing, cello suite number 1. So I'm like, I explained to her, I think I even sang it a little bit for her because I didn't know its name. The teacher looked at her and she's like, does that mean something to you? And she's like, yep, yeah. I'm like, what? Tell me. Anyway, I didn't get. I mean, I got my confirmation that it was something, but what it was something deeply personal for her. And I think it may have been related to her mother or something. But yeah, so in that situation, I heard a cello playing, and it was very clear. And that was a combination of clairaudience and what I would say was, well, I guess it was a little bit of clairvoyance. I always imagine, because I don't know, clairvoyance, I would only say is if somebody can see something like literally appear in front of them, right? Like I'm not entirely sure if this is in the room with me or not, like that level. When I see an image in my head, I don't count it as clairvoyance. I would count that more under cognizance. But
Oh,
that's
interesting.
my interpretation. Like because it's in there. I know that it's in there, right? It's I'm not thinking, oh, there's a cello in the room. And oftentimes it's more of a I know that it's a cello, but I don't see it in full detail. Like when I dream of something, I don't see full details, but I know that it's something.
Mhm.
So it's like I know it's a cello. So brown body thing strings. That's as far as the details go. That is my example of clairaudience, and it is one that I will repeat to my grandchildren one day.
Yeah.
What about you?
Clairaudience wasn't strong at first. Like it's my main one. It's my main go-to. I think it blends really well with my moon sign. That's just getting into astrology, but because of the
Which is
Aquarius. So we are in constant communication. I have full dialogues. We if I want to know something, like I ask right away and in my head. But like sometimes, like when people are like, "Where are you?" I'm like having a conversation. Uh, is because like now I channel, so it's kind of like clairaudience. I kind of put myself aside and I let the energies talk through me. So it's kind of a development of clairaudience. But sometimes when I still want to be active and part of the message, sometimes it really looks like I'm like relaying a message. I'm like, well, wait, 1 second. Yeah, so they want you to stop doing this because, and it comes sometimes like Angel, our teacher, would say, like, you can tell that you're giving the right message sometimes also when you look so confused because the message is not about me. It's not about us, especially if we're giving it to somebody else. So it's like,
Mm.
like sometimes it is just a word, but or it's just like parsley. It's like I feel like you need to drink more parsley, like have parsley tea, and they're like, "Oh my goodness!" I'm like, "Yeah, totally." Like it's so confusing. At first, for me, when it did come on, it was definitely a lot of songs. I was really attached to wanting to understand what that meant. And as the channel, I see it as a channel. As it got clearer and clearer, it was like, oh, okay, now we can talk. And then I had to learn to discern. all the thoughts were different guides for me, and which thoughts and guides are here for my highest good, which are not. And so then I had to kind of develop my hearing, like hearing a musical instrument, what are the frequencies that are there for my highest good, and which one do I filter out? Yeah, I know for some people I've heard, like, yeah, they hear musical notes. They can hear. There was somebody that used to do Reiki that because they played guitar, they could hear the melodies within the bodies of what was good and what wasn't good, and that was really interesting. I think for a lot of people that are musically inclined, maybe clairaudience will develop more. I was definitely not physically musically inclined. Like I didn't practice an instrument when I was young, but I was exposed to a lot of classical music when I was little. I mean, that was my mom's favorite type of music. And we were like, every day there was classical music playing. So I was exposed to like a wide range of like frequencies and how they move and how they play, and from a very young age. So I think maybe that contributed, but definitely a lot of music at first. And now, and I guess poetry too.
Oh yeah.
Poetry. And a lot of that at first was also very confusing because words would come, and I was like, that is not a word I know. And I would literally go on the internet and look at the definition of that word, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it fits perfectly in the poem. Like how did that come out of nowhere? And I was like, I don't think this is from me. Because even sometimes reading the poems, it felt like it was dictated to me, but I was like, this is not my level. Like, I can't write stuff like that. Like, this is from something else. Like, so yeah, clairaudience definitely comes in different forms. It's a very interesting one. It's one that I like a lot. But I think like with all clairs, when people learn to develop them or venture into that, like there is this, like you said, lexicon moment where you do have to build your library or build like filter, like this is not stuff that I want to be into. This is like just clean your house, like
Yeah.
put your house in order. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there can be songs that remind you of specific moments in your life. And like you can tell, like sometimes, I don't know, like there's a difference between this is a message for me and this is a message for you, because like you can be like, parsley, as opposed to parsley, what does it mean for me, and then going from there. So it's, I guess that's also a discerning thing that you kind of learn to practice. What did you said that you kind of said something that sounded like you were developing your clairaudience, because like it started with music and songs, and then it developed into conversations. How, like, did you do something deliberately to progress?
I don't know what I would have like personally done to trigger the progression, as opposed to just me being really into wanting to learn more. It felt like all this was leading me somewhere, and I needed to know more. I was going through a tunnel of some sort, and there was light at the end of that tunnel. And I was just like yeah, it was almost like the entire time I had like a carrot dangling in front of me. It's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. I was like, but I think my wanting to know more is what made it develop more.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I would just get really bored, and I just needed to learn more. Like, give me more. So it's from like wanting to know more. Like, I don't accept that this is the highest I can go into this area. I want to know more. Like, and getting angry. Oh goodness, getting
I
so
remember that.
oh, I would get so angry all the time. It's like, this is not good enough. What does this mean? And I think a lot of my path has been like kind of like I compare it a lot with like Buddhist koans. I don't know if you know. Koans are I think it's written Koan. They are paradoxical phrases that they would give to Buddhist monks in order to provoke so much mental friction that they would jump to a next level of awareness. Koans, for example, that I'm given now, there was one, what was the last one? It was like, the shadow is the light, not the other way around. And you're supposed to use those as deep meditative reflection. You can even gaze at a flame but like the monks would kind of sometimes sit with something for years until like enlightenment would come. But a lot of my path was like there was so much friction, and I was like, yeah. And then one day I would just kind of jump out of it, and I don't know how I would do it. It's just,
Do you
but
think that that there was a lot of friction in that process for you because there was a lot in your own life that you weren't ready to see?
yeah.
And there was like obstacles in the path that you're kicking at and you didn't know that they were there, but there were mechanisms in place that are like, you can't see this yet. You're not ready.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact, and it makes complete sense when looking back. It was
Hmm.
like I was going too fast. But yeah. I even had just to go into like clairvoyance, but I had a big, tall guardian,
Hmm.
huge guardian guy, like just big figure. And every once in a while, he would pop out of nowhere, and he'd be like, "Stop looking into this." And I'm like, "I'm not looking into anything." He's like, "You are in the background. You're like, you think you're here, but you're doing other business on the side." And I was very good at like trying to multitask. But yeah, and that's where I think respecting your clairsentience, your yes and your no. My body, I wasn't aware. My body was telling me like stop, no, but I wasn't aware of that connect. Like I wasn't aware of the significance of that because I wasn't in
Hmm.
touch with my body. So yeah, the clairsentience, like no, stop. This is not where we're going. Yeah, good times.
No, yeah, I remember when you looked into something for me that was giving you a don't go there, and you were like, the hell I won't. And you went there, and then you had a headache for the next 4 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's where I learned to program. I learned to program numbers. So I was talking to my guides, and I'm like, it was so painful. I was like, do I need to go to see a doctor? And I was like, show me 911 if I need to
Hmm.
see a doctor, and then show me 420 if I just need to calm down. And they kept showing me 420. And I was like, okay, so it was all energetic. And just to prove that like sometimes energy, like and even though like you can't physically put your hands on it, energy has presence. Yeah, definitely honor it, respect it. Also understand that you're not a victim of it.
Hmm. But I did just want to add to that. I think like with all these things that you're talking about, they start off subtly. Like it's not I don't know, it's not like an invisible elephant sits on you so you can't move. It's more subtle than that. And I think for people who want to get into developing their clairs, the first step would be to start meditating. To basically learn how to hear the silence so that you can hear the things that are not silence, because our world is so loud, both physically and mentally, and until we can learn to hear around that noise, we won't be able to hear what's like very very subtle. Like I'm using very auditory terms right here because I think that's one of my favorite clairs. You can also tell what a person, like, what kind of information they perceive the best from the words that they use. I find. So if somebody is always talking about, well, I really feel like da 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 da, it's like, okay, so probably clairsentience is gonna be the easiest one for you to reach. Or if I'm like, you need to hear around the noises of everyday life, it's like, okay, it's probably gonna be a clairaudience thing. Or like, I see where you're going with that clairvoyance. So like if you're wondering which one is yours, like which one is not which one is yours, but which one might be easiest for you to reach in this moment. Examine your vocabulary.
I like that.
Yeah. But this brings us to another confusing one, claircognizance. So why don't you kick us off?
Okay. Claircognizance is when you know something without knowing how you know or why you know it. Yeah, it's it is a strong knowing, and I think it confuses a lot of people because it can almost sound like that person is just being really arrogant. They're a know-it-all.
Mhm.
Uh, like nobody likes that, but also because in today's world, we know things because we've read them in books, because we've learned them from experts, because we've watched it on a show, because, and it's like, what do you mean you just know? And it's like, yeah, it can be as, and it is usually claircognizance. I find it's very strong. It's a strong one. It can be like somebody was booking a vacation to go somewhere, and then for some reason like they just knew like with all their might that like they came the date, they're like, I can't get on that plane, and they're like, somebody's telling them why. It's like, I don't know why, I just can't get on that plane.
Mhm.
And it's that's it, that's all. And that's where, yeah, a lot of people are like, you're being ridiculous, like what's going on with you. And it's a deep knowing. I find claircognizance is, I do have it, not all the time, but it's sometimes very hard for me to even still place awareness of like, oh yeah, that was claircognizance.
Mhm.
Like it's a weird one, I find. I don't know much else about it, but I think a lot of children also are very claircognizant. And again, it's something that gets brushed off because it's
Mhm.
not recognized. It's a hard one to recognize. Do you find, can you recognize claircognizance in people?
No, no, it's that's the confusing part is because people are going to gaslight themselves out of this one the most, I think, because they, oh, I'm just imagining things, or like, oh, I I just came up with it. Like that's not real. I just came up with it. It's like, okay, well, imagination gets a bad rap because imagination is really us tapping into dimensions that we don't physically see, and then it just shows up in our brain, and we're like, we don't accept it as information. There's just something about it where that gets very easily disregarded. I don't know if it's about today's society or if that's always been the case, but that's the hardest one. And there's no bells and whistles to it.
Hmm.
Oftentimes it just feels like a normal thing. It's like, oh yeah, I know this thing now. You know, it's like you should walk across the road. Why? Mm, just do it.
Yeah.
uh like there's no feeling necessarily associated with it, you know, like it is purely mental, which just means it's on a different layer. It doesn't mean that it's better or worse than other, like clairsentience. It's so easy to recognize once you start figuring out, oh, that's not me. Like with clairsentience, the challenge is it me or is it something else? But you feel it. You always feel it. You know that something is there, and then you can look at it and analyze and be like, let's think about this. With claircognizance, is just, is this a thought? Is this a memory? Is this, oh, I had an idea for a show? You know, like what is where does it come from? So I think that that's the challenge with claircognizance is allowing yourself to believe that it is actually information that is coming through because it's being asked for.
Hmm.
And I think it might be useful to bring in other clairs when you're developing claircognizance. Like it depends. Like I know this is very much my perspective, where it's like, well, okay, it's not associated with a feeling. Maybe somebody else's is. But you can also you can ask for confirmation through other clairs.
Hmm.
It's definitely one that's the hardest to trust yourself with. When you, especially when you're just starting out as a student, and that was my thing when I was first starting off at the Home of Om, and a lot of other people there, when they were like, "Whoa, I want to say this, but I don't know why I want to say it." You know, it's like there's a lack of trust in what comes from within, and that is probably the challenge that needs to be probably that's the, I think every claire has an aspect of shadow work that needs to be done
Yeah.
before you can before you are ready to accept the messages that you're receiving. And with claircognizance, it's definitely trusting yourself. That's the shadow to look into.
Hmm.
For it would show up for me when I would do Reiki on people. And honestly, I thought that I enjoyed Reiki, like doing Reiki on people, but I actually enjoyed the claircognizant part of it because I would just have thoughts and ideas. And okay, so that was that was a time when it would be easier for me to trust it because I'm already in that framework of I'm working for somebody else's benefit here. I'm tuning into their field. Like you have all this preparation. May everything come through for the highest divine good of all. May my cup be empty so that what comes in is relevant and about this person, not about me. And then I would be working on a client, and information would just start flowing through, and I would just start talking, and it would be great.
Yeah.
And that is where I would believe it. Like that scene is where I would believe it. But if I'm just talking to somebody without the whole preparation and without putting myself in the mode for it, then I'm not sure if it's if my lenses are dirty, you know, because we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. So sometimes you're like you want to give somebody a warning, but maybe it's just a reflection of fear on your part. Like maybe I have a scratch in my glasses and I'm saying, "Oh, there's a big crater over there." It's like, no, there's no crater. It's your glasses.
One sign that you are tuning into it is how rapidly it's coming out, that the information is just spewing out of you, and you're like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I would get so amped up. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. Let me read you, please. Let me just read you and let me tell you about you. It feels good inside.
Not doing this for you.
But how do you read people? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, how do I read people? It's a little bit of everything. It's almost like I get an imprint, and then it kind of happens so quickly, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, it also, I guess it is claircognizance. But like, yeah, I just like I get onto it. I get onto the trail, and I'm like, oh, this is what it is. And as I speak, it's almost like, yeah, I start to feel really good. Like there's just expansion,
Mm.
and it's like it's all making sense. But how I came to it, I mean, it's not from me. It just almost seems like, yeah, it's like sometimes it does feel like, am I making this up? Because it's like it's starting to make sense to me. But it's sometimes it's a little bit of everything. I've had like moments where, like, especially with you, like I think like a lot of the times like I'm not supposed to know things, and I'm like, okay, but what if I just kind of retreat myself and just look into it without telling her? Is that okay? Because I like understanding and I like knowing and so like sometimes they'll just give me things like on the side just onto because like I guess they know that like we're gonna talk about it later and then all of a sudden it's like I get to understand. So it's the same thing. It's like, oh, this is so great. I get to witness the puzzle being solved.
No,
It's
you know what? This is actually a good moment to talk about permission.
yes. Yeah.
Because
That's a great moment.
it's bad form. It's bad form to look into somebody without them giving permission or to work or like do energy work on somebody or something without that having been invited. Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't have an effect. It creates imbalance. It creates bad karma,
Yes.
if you want to put it that way, because it's like you are trying to impose what you think this person needs onto them. So you are very much trying to manipulate them. And you see it, oh, it's energy work. It's all love and divine. And no, it wasn't invited. It's not about them unless they're asking for it. If they're not asking for it, it's about you needing to do something, needing to control, needing to impose, needing to manipulate. So, like with the two of us, we have an ongoing relationship, and that's really not an issue. Like, because like, you have an ongoing permission for that. But you just reminded me. I completely forgot about this. One time at
Oh,
the home, what?
yeah. Can I just say something? But yes, we do. But at the same time, uh, I work with my guides at all time to, I always like when it's coming from me, can I do this? Can I
Mhm.
look into it? And so my guides are the ones that will answer. And a lot of times with you, it's a no. It's like a straight up no. And like, yeah, it's
And it's not because I wouldn't allow it, it's because there's things that are written in my soul contract that
yeah,
don't allow me to go there. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I came into this life with the attitude of a rebellious teenager, being like, "No, I want to do it. Don't like I want you to do it for me. I want to be the one to do it." So,
Yeah. I think it's also like your deep Scorpio vibes that are like, it's only moi. It's me. It's
my
not
case.
me. And I will only know when I will know. And it's like, even your soul does that to you. It's like really funny how that expresses itself. But yeah, sorry
It
about
would
that
it
interrupt.
would no, it would make sense like if my soul is like putting locks on everything that like no, you will find out at the right time in the right way, not because somebody else did it for you. Okay, so we need to find a reflection of this in the physical. Let's see some kid. This kid's gonna be born with 5 planets in Scorpio. Do you want that? I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
But yes, so there was this girl who showed up at the home of home,
Mhm.
very eager, very zealous, very much. Ooh, I can like figured out that she can sense things and read things and such, and was very zealous to read everybody. And like I did not like her. Like there's this like the prodding energy of ooh I can see what you're about, and I'm like I didn't ask you to. So there was a group of people, and I wasn't doing anything, but I was just kind of silently judging her for just for her energy. It was like okay, no, I see what you're about. I'm not into it. There's probably some people around here who might be into it, but like just stick to them. And I was like, I was closed off to her. Like I was like, really? Mm-hmm. We were in a group, and she kind of turned to me at one point and said, "It's very interesting. You know, I can't read anything from you. Like I can't get anything off of you." And I'm like, "Well, did you ask if you could?" And she's like, "No, what's a big part of it?" But like, it was interesting for me to get that feedback, you know, whereas like I felt closed off. I didn't want her looking into me, and I got feedback from her saying, "I can't get a read from you." I was like, "Good, good." I don't want you to, so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're venturing into, and that's a good point, energetic boundaries, energetic
Mm,
boundaries. Because when you do start tuning in to messages for yourself, there's almost this thing of like, this is so exciting. This is wow. Like, this is helping me so much. How can I help others? And so, yeah, it's like, where does the boundary lie? So I think that's a good point is have you asked permission?
mhm.
Yeah. Would you say that somebody that is venturing and all that should ask verbal permission or to the
I
person? Like, yeah,
think it
or
depends. I think it depends. I think if you don't know the person well, absolutely, it's got to be explicit. It's got to be, hey, I have this skill. I would like to offer you my skill to help you out with something. But it's also like, would you approach somebody? So you observe somebody that you don't know, let's say in a supermarket, having a disagreement with their spouse. And would you approach that person and be like, hey, I noticed that you don't have a happy relationship. I can help you with that. I have the skills to help you with that. What do you think would happen there? You can say, look, I'm a relationship counselor or something, or I'm an energy healer. I've helped other people's like you. I'm available if you feel like you need that. Goodbye. But if you're like, can I help you solve your relationship? It's not about it's about you in that moment. It's not about the person you're observing. Like if you feel like you have to change somebody, that's very much a control issue.
yeah,
So,
that's the spiritual ego then. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, well, it merging with the physical ego.
Yeah.
Because now that's your identity. Your identity is I am the healer. And until you realize that you can't force healing onto somebody, you can only hold a vibration and invite the other person to rise. And in that process, they heal themselves. So if they are not involved in that process, they are not going to heal. They might feel relief temporarily, but they are not keeping that progress. It's like, I don't know if you've had this, but almost everybody I've ever talked to that did Reiki for people went through this, is that you have people coming back time and time again. Like they come to you, they feel better after a session, and then they're back a month later or 2 months later with the same problems. It's because they're relying on that relief. Well, like that relief is good, but they're not working on themselves. Like they're not making changes in their lives. They're not quitting drinking. They're not making better choices. They're still in an unhealthy relationship. They're not choosing to do any of the work. They're just coming to lie down on your table for an hour and feel better for a little bit after that. But unless they are actively involved in shadow work in the healing process, that's not going to stick. So I think they absolutely need a verbal confirmation because that also involves the physical brain. And if the physical brain is not on board, then they're just gonna keep repeating their habits that are keeping them in that way. When it comes to people who are, for example, a spouse or a parent or a child that have given permission time and time again, like they're on board, that they're not like skeptical about it or like they're not pushing against it in any way. The way that I would do it is I would call upon my guides and their guides and my higher self and their higher self. And I would say, according to the highest divine good of everybody involved, and if this is right for them right now, may this happen. Like, may they receive this energy or may something happen. But I would go through the higher channels Like if I'm not asking for permission to work on my husband, I would go through the higher channels. I would go like, I don't know where this needs to go, but like, can we maybe do something to help him with this? And
Yeah.
because when that energy comes from that way, from the higher channels, then it comes from within, and then it helps them more. Then it's theirs. It's not this person did this for me, so I always need to go to this person to feel better. That's my point of view. What about you?
Yeah, I think you brought up a lot of good points. I think like definitely it's almost like a rite of passage when you go through getting a sense of all that world. It's you go through energetic boundaries. Like where's my limit? Like where do I start giving messages and stop? And
Mhm.
I've had like definitely those clients that you're talking about. And
Re- Repeat
that just
clients.
yeah, that come and it's almost like yeah, like they get I know long term there's still energy that is integrating and helping them, but you can tell that the physical aspect of the person, like the person that operates as an individual and is not aware of the subtle like yeah, they're not doing any kind of work. And whenever that happens, my guides are always like it's time to wean them off. They
Mhm.
you are no longer the person to reflect or to witness that part of their journey. We need to wean them off and they need to now seek guidance through somebody else and they will because it becomes also draining. It's yeah, if you don't have the right boundaries in place, it becomes draining. Yeah, I remember also Angel talking during the courses like an immediate way to kind of also physically close your energy is to cross your legs and your arms. And that just physically puts it just closes all the channels. It's like I'm
Mhm.
not open to receive and I'm not like and that's also when you're reading someone with if you have a session with someone and you don't want to absorb, you just want to kind of like let's say see or like you don't want to feel any of it, like you just close your arms and close your legs. So that's also a quick way to put some energy boundaries, knowing to respect yourself, knowing that you don't always need to give a message just because they're shown to you.
Mhm.
Uh, maybe that's it. Maybe you need to close some of the doors a little bit because I know for some people it's also it's in their sleep. They're tuned into everything and it's just too much all the time. They're always in that energy and it can be very destabilizing. And just voice your boundaries, voice with your guides like, hey, at night, I don't want any of this. I just want to sleep. Or, I knew someone that was doing energy work. She's like, if I'm not in a session with someone, I don't want messages.
Mhm.
I'm not open for that. And I think sometimes we're tested too. It's we're tested. Like how much do we love ourselves? Like, do you want to be always kind of being like, oh, like thinking that you're the sole person that needs to deliver all the messages, like, and you're always kind of a victim of it? Or do you love yourself enough to go like, no, like, hey, like, I'm not into knowing all these things about other people all the time. It's too much noise. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's too much
It's,
noise.
it's a big challenge for me, at least, when it comes to family and people who are close to you. Like it's easier for me to give messages to people who don't matter to my personal life. There's an intertwining within the family. There's doubts and fears that are theirs, but that are also yours when you're with them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that just I like doesn't work if I try to use it on my family. Like Reiki, it comes through on its own, so that works. Like I will always feel it coming through when it is. But if I'm trying to give a message, like if I'm trying to engage claircognizantly with my parents, or with my sister, it's horrible. Like I never know that if it's I don't trust myself. I don't even try to do that with my family. And sometimes that can be hard because like you feel like you have to prove yourself to your family the most, like more so than strangers. You're like, well, no, I really am psychic. Here, let me show you. Like you feel that need to defend yourself and to prove yourself. It was just always a point of weakness. I found, like when I say weakness, I don't mean like, oh, it's a failure of mine. I mean like, have you ever done muscle testing?
Yeah.
Right. So like you're testing your muscles to see like if they're strong, if they're holding, that means that the energy is running through you without obstruction, and something is good for you. Like you would do muscle testing for like let's say a certain food to see like is this good for my body, and if it's good, like the muscles are strong. But if something's not good for you, then the muscles are weak, and then you can like they fold way more easily than you would expect. And that's what I feel when it comes to my family. Like I feel that kind of weakness. Like I feel like I'm floppy. I haven't, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have not grown to the level where I can say it doesn't matter what my family says. I'm working on that. I'm on the cognitive level of that, of trying to convince my brain, and like the rest will follow, but I'm not there yet. So when I try to put myself in a role of psychic around them, it never works. Like the messages are not right, or I don't see anything, I don't get anything. It's just I just wanted to bring this up because it might be the case for other people there too.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard to hold your own around family that is not inherently supportive. Yeah, there's like forever like I'm still trying to convince myself that the fears that my parents carry are not the objective truth of the universe.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. But that's something that I wanted to bring up. Like, don't, if you're practicing, try to practice on people who don't matter. Don't try to work on your family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a surgeon shouldn't perform surgery on their family, on any family members, and don't
Unless
practice.
they're like really good.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to say, like, one of the, like, in terms of energy boundaries, I remember that Angel was saying, especially when it comes to clairsentience, because a lot of times people are going to feel that on themselves, right? Like if you're absorbing energy from around you and you're like, oh, my leg hurts, does your leg hurt? Okay, that's not good. You're bringing in the energy of pain onto you. So what you want to do is you want to say, not on me. Let's project an image of a person in space. Show me where the pain is. Don't make me hurt. Show me on this drawing of a person where they hurt. And that's something that I've used before. That's something that I use when I do Reiki with people, because I don't experience that level of clairsentience where you can feel on your, like my sister does, when what we were talking about. So what I will do is, like, okay, I have a person in front of me. I will project an image, like a holographic image. And I will, like, okay, show me where there's weakness. Show me where there's extra energy. Show me where they want to focus on. But I will project that onto an image that is not me. So that is also a level of energy boundaries, because then inviting that, you're not inviting their energy into you, you're inviting it into this image, and then you're just reading it.
Mhm.
So I found that useful as well.
Yeah. I think that'll be like a big topic, like for people to understand that they have full control and say into how things, where they can develop, and how. And if something is unpleasant, you have the right and the worth to say no. That I don't like that. That is not the door that I want to open. I don't want to feel pain on my body. No, thank you.
It's just no. And
yeah, you're right. I think people who haven't had any clair experiences, they might have visions of it, like visuals of like channeling. Oh, something takes over your body. Like this isn't, you're not in control. That's why some people think it might be demons taking possession, things like that. I don't think it's something that is widely known that you can control that experience. And you're right, like it's something that should be, like if you're gonna explore this topic at all, like go in knowing that it's all about micromanaging, literally. So you can be like, all right, angels, I'm opening up to seeing or hearing or whatever is gonna work for me. And then as it comes in, you're making micro adjustments. Like, oh, too loud, lower, please. Lower the volume. Or too bright, let's lower the brightness. Or, oh, that thing is too big. Can you lower it down and I can just talk to it like this because this is too scary. We have all of that. We have all that control over the non-physical.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could use your sister's analogy of like being the massage therapist. Like when you go into a massage, like, are you the type of person that takes the level of intensity and don't say anything? Or you're like, I'm sorry, this is too harsh. I don't like it. I need it softer. This music is too loud. I'm actually allergic to certain smells. Please don't. Like, you have control of, you're going for a massage to feel better.
Yeah.
If the experience is not making you feel better, then you're not inviting the right people at the table and you're not respecting yourself. And so it's a co-creation. You decide who the players come. Are you here for my highest good and most benevolent light? And yeah, so that's I think that was good that we ventured into that, because that has to be said enough times to sink in. I think for a lot of people that's not shared enough. I don't think it's just like, oh yeah, I can do that, and then but it's not shared that, like, you can open doors that are not good for you, and you can invite in energies that are not necessarily good, and we have to kind of venture in knowing that we can be loved and held.
And I know you're planning an episode just on the dark side of psychic work, so I think that's gonna be a very informative session for anybody who's interested in it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna set that up. I have to talk to all of you guys and see how we can set it up. But yeah, I think there's other clairs, but I think for this episode we're gonna leave it to that, because the other ones are not as popular for you and for me. It's not to say that they are not strong for other people, but I think we have covered a lot of ground for today. And I do want to let all that information sink in. And who knows, maybe there'll be other episodes about those clairs. I mean, it's a journey. But I want to come to a close, and I definitely want to link in the episode that you have on your channel, if that's okay. And also, yeah, I want to know, how can people reach you or get to know you more, or even if they want to work with you? Yeah.
My goodness.
You're also a mama.
Yes, I'm currently dominantly a mama. Right, I have a podcast, developing a podcast that's got a lot of work ahead of us. It's called the Earth Circuit. It's available on YouTube. We can link it in the comments here or in the description. We're planning a lot of other stuff that's gonna come, but it's all gonna be available on that channel, so that's doable. I do normally also do astrology readings, but I'm kind of pausing on that right now with the little one. She's way too young for me to take some time off for that, and my brain is not there yet.
Yeah.
I will make announcements when that is back on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you though.
I mean, I have to say it. But thank you so much for agreeing to this.
My pleasure.
And yeah, I think this episode was definitely stressing me out because it's a lot of information to cover, and you have this really great ability to ground metaphysical concepts. So yeah, I definitely needed you on this one. So I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to lend my brain anytime you need it.
Perfect. Well,
Awesome.
yeah. I'm so bad at closing episodes, but thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's time for a deep breath in, allowing anything that resonates to digest within the body, letting it root into the earth. With gratitude for the land that holds us, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a unique expression of the divine self. Thank you for incarnating with our human family here on earth. And thank you for being a reflection of love just by being yourself. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved.